Hi, I am Professor Dr. Kisholoy Roy, and in this presentation I am going to talk about how to be a successful case study writer. As far as I am concerned, I am a PhD in management who has authored several case studies, articles, research papers and books. My case studies can be found on Case Center, which was previously known as ECCH or European Case Clearing House. Besides that, I have several published case studies in various leading national and international journals. I am based in India, and there is a reason why I have taken this particular topic to present, because case studies have become absolutely indispensable in any stream of teaching, whether it is engineering, whether it is medicine, whether it is law, whether it is management. Case studies are required for anyone to be a lateral thinker, to come out with effective solutions to problems being raised through a case study. And they offer certain simulated situations to the audience, to the students, which actually enables and enriches the entire learning process. Now, coming to what is a case study. Case studies, their description of an original situation involving a challenge, opportunity, decision or problem faced by a decision maker. They are meant to achieve certain educational objectives. They can be based on either empirical research or field research and secondary research, and they are generally written in a very dispassionate manner, as if a commentary is running. That way it is to be written, and a case writer is not supposed to voice his or her personal opinion or viewpoints while writing a case. They are supposed to present facts and figures. They are supposed to present what others have said in the public domain regarding a particular thing, but not their viewpoint. Closely resembling case studies is something called as caselet, which are much shorter as far as their length is concerned, and articles, again, articles are something which differs vastly from case studies in terms of the way they are titled, they are structured, they are formatted. You can come to know in a better way about the difference that exists between case studies, caselets and articles in one of my books, which I will be talking about at the end of this presentation. As far as case method requirements are concerned, whether you are a case writer or you are a case teacher, it is supposed to contribute to learning. So as a case writer, you get to learn while you are studying lot of things, while you are analyzing lot of things. And as a case teacher, you not only learn from a particular case study you are delivering in class, but when the viewpoints are being shared by your students in the class, you can get further insights into a particular topic. The broad domains of case studies, they are mainly based on business, society or government, and in many cases you will find a convergence occurring between either 2 or 3 domains. Like if we talk about a case study based on business ethics or on corporate social responsibility, then we will find that it's a convergence of 2 domains, namely business and society. Types of case studies, they can be based on the triggers involved, approach to development and the target audience. As far as triggers are concerned, what is triggering the development of a case study, or what is stimulating the development of a case study? Now often it happens that certain articles in newspapers and magazines stimulate the development of a case study. When so much is being written about Bahubali all around in newspapers and magazines, one might be propelled, one might be stimulated to write a case study on Bahubali. And the success of Bahubali, the worldwide acclaim that this particular movie has got. So that becomes a story driven case. Again, there can be certain concept driven cases, like if you write a case study, which I have personally written on second mover advantage, then that becomes a concept driven case. Based on the approach to development, there can be field research and secondary research based case studies, which we have already talked about. And based on target audience, as far as management cases are concerned, there can be case studies for the MBA and BBA students, which can range from 12, 15 to even 25 pages. There can be certain smaller case studies which comes at 3 to 6 pages, and certain subject specific executive education where something is being written on a company. Ingredients of good case studies will be that first and foremost, the case study should be relevant to the subject being taught. It should present an opportunity to invite the protagonist to have their own viewpoints. It should establish a faculty as a specialist in the eyes of students. Now that can only happen when a faculty brings the right case study to the right class at the right point of time in a certain course. Because often it happens that certain case studies are brought into a class which is not meant for that class. So if the real worth of a case study, as the last point of this slide talks about, the worth of a case also depends upon a faculty's judgment of bringing a particular case for discussion in class is concerned. So over here, if there is an error in judgment that the faculty has while they are bringing a certain case to the class, then the entire essence of a case study is lost. So if case studies, the essence has to be written, then faculties do play a major role in that. Why you use case studies? Because you utilize theory, concepts, tools and techniques to develop certain data and interpretation skills, decision making skills, simulate reality, create some positive learning environment, and you learn by doing and by teaching others. So that's the main reason why you use case studies. Incentives to case writer, definitely if you are interested to become a case writer, if you are someone, now in management case studies if we talk of, if you are someone who writes grammatically correct English, who has a flair for words, definitely not superlative words, words that will be understandable by and large, words which will be understandable by and large, and you do have an awareness regarding certain business issues happening around you, and you can put them in words, you can go through a lot of articles, you can collate the facts and figures from those articles and come out with something where and it makes for an effective and engaging read. Definitely you can think of yourself as a case writer, whether as a freelancer or as a full-timer, and in either case one big incentive for you is money. Also academic interest, someone who wishes to pursue research actively can become a case writer. It is definitely intellectually stimulating. There are people like me who have always the ambition to teach, and to teach effectively you need to be someone who is a good researcher, who is aware of the business world around him. And for that, the first step is you become a case writer, you do active research, you pursue the happenings around yourself, around lot of companies which are existing around you, and thereby that will enable you to bring certain live examples to class, to bring the right case studies to the right class at the right time of a course. So you can take case writing as one of the initial steps to be taken by you before you can actually think of teaching somewhere. And yes, as a freelancer you can make use of some free time if you become a case writer. As far as the case writing process is concerned, and this basically talks about secondary research based case studies, first and foremost you need to identify a base article which is called as a case trigger. Now you read a article in a magazine about Indigo, the airlines, the domestic carrier mainly in India, and you wish to write something, you wish to write a case study on the evolution of Indigo in the airspace as far as this country is concerned. So that particular article becomes the base article for your case study. It is the main article on which your case study is based. After you have identified the base article comes the freezing of the case structure with the supervising authority, where you decide upon that what will be the title of the case study and what will be the subheads and what will be the content in those subheads. The actual case writing process takes place after that, post which you get the approval regarding the case content from the supervising authority. Proofreading needs to be done after that to check if there are any grammatical errors or sentence construction errors, after which what is done is classroom testing. In classroom testing it is very important because you have written a case as a case author. Now whether your audience is understanding the case study, the sentences which have been framed, the words which have been used, and whether they are able to correctly identify the problem being raised, or the pedagogical objectives that you have mentioned, are they being fulfilled or not, that can only be understood through classroom testing. So once the result of a classroom testing are positive, release of a case study can be thought of. Now, the structure of a case study, this is basically some of the major ingredients or basic ingredients of a case study. The case title, opening paragraph, subheads, exhibits and annexure, footnote styling and connecting sentences. Now about all these things you can get to know in better detail in a much more vivid manner through my 2 books which I was talking of at the beginning of this presentation. These books are available on Google Play, Pothi.com and Amazon.in. The books are How to Write and Teach Case Studies Effectively and Do Case Studies Have a Shelf Life? These books are doing absolutely great in the last 2 years. There is a lot of learning that can happen, especially if you are someone who is pursuing management education, both as a student or as a teacher. There is lots to learn from this, and I will also like to suggest over here, like if you are really interested to pursue case writing as a career, I do offer workshops from time to time, and you can get in touch with me at the email ID given in the description of this video for workshops with me. Else you can always have these books which will serve as a very effective guide as how to write case studies, how to teach case studies, and how to create a more enriching learning climate through case study teaching, learning and writing. So that's it from me. Hope you had a nice learning experience. Thank you.